Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I made this video in order to help you, to support you, to understand better about our topic, and that I am going to assess next week. Okay, in our quiz. So let's start over. Okay, so in this topic, states and properties of matter part 2. It means we have done the part 1, okay, and the part 2 we start from water cycle until the end of the chapter. Okay, so what is water cycle? So water cycle is the changes of the state of water on Earth, okay, and it will, the process is in a cycle because it will return to the original state of the water. Okay, so the objective of this topic is to make a drawing of observations, okay, and learn about process in the water cycle and make a model to show the water cycle. For drawing of observations, we just observe, okay, the drawing of the water cycle, the diagram, and make a model to show the water cycle. We have done this in the previous week, okay, and for the further information, okay, the complete information, you can watch the video, okay. I have enclose the link of the video and also the exercise, okay, so you can complete the sentences, okay, related to water cycle in that exercise. You can access the exercise by clicking the link, okay. And then water cycle model, okay, so for water cycle model, you can open your learner's book, page 76 to 77. And so we did this, okay, and so you need to set up the instrument or the tools, okay, that you can find in your science kit, and then you can set up like this. There is a small bowl instead of the bigger one, and then you have to cover the bigger bowl with a plastic wrap, and you have to put a marble, okay, on the plastic wrap, okay, and put it on a sunny place, okay, and leave it for a few days. What are you going to find? So let's see this, okay. So at first the small bowl is empty, and then the next days or the days some days after, you're gonna find the drop of water inside of the small bowl, okay. It is because the water the water in the big bowl, it is evaporated because of the heat and light, okay, because it is exposed to heat and light from the sun when it is evaporated, and then somehow at night it's gonna be condensed, and then the result of the condensation is water drops, and the water drop will accumulate just below the marble, because the marble it gives pressure to the certain position of the plastic wrap, and then it causes the water drops to accumulate just below of the marble. Okay, so that's all for the water cycle model. And then the next topic is about solution, okay. It's yes, you can check the solutions on your learner's book. And then the objective is investigate and describe dissolving. What is dissolving? Decide if a solid is soluble or not, soluble or insoluble, okay. Learn that soluble and insoluble substances cause water pollution. Investigate how separate a solution, and then make drawings of observation measuring liquids. Choose and use equipment in an investigation. Decide on the type of scientific inquiry to use to investigate a question. Learn that dissolving is a reversible process. Ask a question to investigate and find the answer. Okay, so what is solution? The first question is, what is solution? So solution is a mixture, okay, between the solute and the solvent. Okay, what is solute and solvent? Okay, so the solvent is the substance which dissolve. Okay, which it is dissolving the solid. Okay, so the solvent, what is dissolving? Dissolving is in bahasa Indonesia. Dissolving is dissolve mean larut. Okay, larut means when you mix two substances, the liquid and solid. For example, you mix salt and water and then you stir it, and then somehow you will see that the salt has disappeared. Okay, it because the salt has been dissolved. The salt is dissolved in the water. It means that it is uniformly distributed among the water particles. Okay, that's dissolved in bahasa Indonesia. So how do we know if something is dissolved or not in the water or the solvent? We have to try it. Okay, because somehow when we think that, oh, the solid is dissolved, but actually it is not. So you should try. Okay, so the solvent, universal solvent is the solvent that we usually use to dissolve something, and mostly we use water. Okay, and then solid can be solid. Okay, can be powder, or it also, in this chapter we learn about solid, but in a solid but in a solid form or solid state. Okay, but actually solid can be other thing. It can be liquid, but the denser one. Okay, so let's say that this is the salt. The salt is the salt, and then when it is mixed, it is stirred. Okay, and it will become solution. Okay, which is in bahasa Indonesia is larutan. So the salt is dissolved in the water. Okay. Okay, so mixture is divided into two, heterogeneous and homogeneous. Heterogeneous means different and homogeneous means similar. Okay, so different means it cannot be uniformly distributed, okay, in the solvent. So it means that the solid is insoluble or cannot be dissolved in the solvent. Okay, and what about homogeneous? Homogeneous means you cannot find this heterogeneous and homogeneous in your vocabulary in your learner's book because it is from me. But to differentiate between insoluble and soluble solution, insoluble and soluble solid, so I make this kind of diagram. Homogeneous means similar. So because the grain or uh, they can evenly distributed, okay, in the solvent, so that's why let's say they are similar, because we cannot differentiate between which one is the, for example, which one is salt, which one is the water. They are like united. Okay, but for heterogeneous, they usually mostly they will form a layer. Okay, two layers. So we know we can differentiate between, oh, this is the sand part, for example, and this is the water part, so they form a layer, some kind of that. Okay, and then for homogeneous we call this as a solution. Okay, solution it's mean larutan, bukan solusi tapi larutan. Okay, and the solution, it consists of two components. Okay, solvent and solute, and this solute part, okay, usually it is soluble solid or soluble liquid. It can be soluble means able to dissolve in the solvent and uniformly distributed. Okay, so we cannot see the differentiation between the solute and the solvent when they has this they already when they have been dissolved. Okay, Okay, so this is the picture of the particles, okay, of the solution. At first, before we stir it, okay, before it is dissolved, water particle and salt, this the example, the water particles as a solvent and salt particles, it is the salt, okay. They are not together, they are not directly dissolved, okay, but after we stir it, okay, they are uniformly dissolved or uniformly distributed. So salt and water particles are evenly spread, so we cannot differentiate between these two substances when they have been dissolved, okay. uh yes, you can demonstrate this. You can try to mix the salt and water and then stir it, and you will see how they dissolve, okay. And you can access the word wall as the exercise as well, okay. And then for this task, okay, complete the following task for the one who were offline at that time, but for the one who are online, I have asked you to complete the word wall. Actually, the questions are similar, okay, but only uh, the platform that you use is different. Okay, so the next question is what kind of water that we consume and good for us. Okay, we of course we need clean water, and then um, what is it? Water without smell. Okay, when the water is has a smell, it means that this water has been mixed with something else, right? So we need pure water, and that's the water that's good for us. Okay. So there is a chapter about water pollution in your book. Okay, so this water pollution, the objective of this topic subunit, I mean, learn that soluble and insoluble substances cause water pollution. And I enclose some picture that give you some information about what is water pollution. I mean, what kind of water pollution that we are facing right now. So the first one, this is the oil spill. It's on the surface of the sea, and you might see that, oh, if this photograph is taken from the above, it means that this area is quite wide, so it causes pollution, of course. It covered the surface of the sea, and so the living things or the organisms that live below the surface of this sea, they cannot get enough sunlight. So yes, if they cannot get enough sunlight, there might be some problem. They cannot do photosynthesis and the other thing. Okay, that's a terrible thing that happened. And then the next one, okay, I think you are familiar with this condition, right? Many people, they throw the trash to the water instead of to the trash bag. Okay, and then this one, this is the liquid waste from factories, and they do not neutralize the waste first. So this waste is a chemical substance, and it's commonly dangerous for living things or for the animals that live in the water. Okay, and this is toxic alga blooms are getting worse, but oversight is lacking. Okay, so this green part is the blooming algae. uh okay, blooming algae, and this blooming algae causes the water becomes green and becomes uh not becomes the water becomes cannot be consumed, are not able to consume because of this algae blooming, because the water is poisoned by the algae. I mean, we should consume the pure water, right? Okay, the mineral water, not the water that has many microorganisms inside, okay, such as algae. And this algae, the green algae, mostly they are poisonous. Okay, so this is a supplementary topic about water pollution. You can watch it on your own, okay? And then the conclusion is water pollution occurs when harmful substances, often chemicals or microorganisms, contaminate a stream, river, lake, ocean, aquifer, or other body of water, degrading water quality and rendering it toxic to humans or the environment. And then you can read and discuss learn through page 79 to 80. Okay. So I made this diagram. So water pollution is caused by insoluble substance or soluble substance. Okay. So the soluble substance that causes water pollution is pesticide, fertilizers, acids, and dissolved chemical substances. Okay. You know, pesticide is the chemical substance that is used to kill the pest. Okay. And fertilizers is used, it's also chemical substances and it is used to make the crops grow better. And then insoluble substance, okay, insoluble substance such as insoluble human body waste, okay, because not our waste, the human body waste is soluble, okay. And then the plastic, of course, plastic is insoluble, and then the oil also insoluble, okay. And then pesticide is okay. So I enclose the meaning of the pesticide and the picture. Okay, pesticide is the chemical sprayed by the farmers to kill pests like insect or mice. Okay, so this is the pesticide. And sometime when it is washed by the raindrops and it is brought by the flow, okay, it can poison the animals that lives in the river or in the sea, okay, when it is brought by the flow of the water. Okay, and then fertilizers are the chemicals put by the farmers to make their crops grow better. This blue little substance is the fertilizers. It is unorganic, okay, it is made by some chemical process. Yes, it can make the crops grow better, but uh, actually when it is not, it is dissolved by the, it is washed by the raindrops, and then it's gonna be brought to the flows or streams. It can be dangerous, okay, because it is chemical and it is not easy for us or for the living things to neutralize this kind of chemical substances. Okay, the last subtopic is, can we get back solutions? Okay, so please complete this report, okay, the aim report about can we get back solutions in your workbook. We wanted to find out if you can get salt back from a solution, okay, by evaporation. Okay, okay, and the method, we blah 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 some salt in water in a beaker to make a salt solution. We dissolve to make a salt solution. The salt was the solute, okay, and the water was the solvent. You know that the mixture between solute and solvent is the solution. We left the beaker in a sunny place, okay, or warm place, okay, for a few days, and then after a few days there was blah 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 in the bottom of the container. It's a crystal salt, okay. There was no water, okay, it had evaporated. The conclusion is we found that we can get salt back from a solution. Okay, we do this by evaporating the water, okay. So that's the answer of the workbook. And then the practice, okay, this is the quizzes practice that you can do, okay, before the quiz. That's all from me. Thank you very much. I hope this recording will help you to understand better, to study better about the water cycle and solutions. Okay, see you on Tuesday, inshallah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.